Well, how do you do? Happy Monday to you. It is a special edition of Raw Talk Live, the day after the Oscars and the famous slap heard around the world and seen in places as far, far, far away. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Couldn't let this day go by without giving you an opportunity to share your thoughts and opinions. So get ready, hold on tight. It's girlfriend Peggy, Pastor Thomas Ware, and Essex O'Brien, along with yours truly, me, Miss B, up next on Raw Talk Live. Yeah, you saw it. You saw it. You saw the slap. Hey, even if you weren't watching the Academy Awards, you saw the slap. Welcome, girlfriend Peggy. What's going on, baby? How you doing?
Good, beautiful queen. How you doing tonight?
Oh, just lovely. Just lovely. Thank you for asking. Yes, this is wonderful. I said, hey, even if you weren't watching the Academy Awards, you saw that slap. Everybody done seen that slap. Ooh, you talking about getting the taste slapped out your mouth.
Yes.
Good gracious alive. Great googly moogly. Well, I tell you what, we are the ladies of Raw Talk. We are the original Raw Talkers holding it down on a Monday night for this special edition. But we knew that we needed to have some testosterone in the building. We needed the voice and thoughts and opinion of some men. And I couldn't think of any other men that would fit the bill better than these two who are joining us tonight. If you were with us last week, you had the pleasure of meeting Pastor Thomas Ware, and he was here. He's also a vocalist and an artist and a married man who, as we heard last week, loves his wife. And so I knew it would be important to have him here with us. So let's welcome Pastor Thomas Ware. How you doing? What's going on?
Hey, good. How y'all doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Great. We're doing great. Thanks for joining us. And then our longtime original Raw Talker friend of the show, the person who even taught me how to use this program. This is my friend. Okay. He is a phenomenal, accomplished actor and now also a producer of his own film. So he knows the business, he knows the industry, and he's married to a beautiful woman who he has loved for a very long time. And so we're happy to welcome to the panel the one-on-one Essex O'Brien. What's going on, E?
What's going on, y'all?
What's up?
How's it going?
Great. How you doing?
Good. Nice to meet you, Pastor.
Same here. It's nice to meet you, brother.
Yes, two wonderful men who love their wives. So, Pastor. Pastor, how long have you been married?
13 years.
Okay.
And 14 years in October.
Okay. Essex, how long have you been married?
15. I got you, Pastor. I got you a couple years. I got 15 on the books.
Yes, sir.
15?
That's awesome.
More than 15. So you had a lot of experience with being with your woman and being in a lot of different situations. Have you ever had a situation where you felt like you had to physically defend your wife?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. No, I've never had to be in a situation where I had to physically defend my wife at all. That's a blessing.
Yes, it is. It is. That means that y'all don't carry on no shenanigans. Ain't no shenanigans going on over there.
Hey, that's a blessing that my name is not scarred by.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Because they
say.
ain't want your body.
Yeah. We would have had a problem if it had to come down to it. It would be a problem.
I know that's right. And
Yeah.
Essex,
I've been close. I haven't physically put my hands on somebody, but I had to get in somebody's face and let them know it wasn't going to be no game, and they didn't want to take it any further. So physically, no, but it was right there.
it was
Yeah.
right there. It was
Well,
right
Yeah.
let
there.
me ask, what would warrant you to have to put your hands on somebody about your wife?
Disrespect, continued disrespect. In this particular situation, there was one time we was walking downtown and a guy was kind of harassing us and was kind of following me. And I just felt like, okay, I ain't gonna just let you keep following and talking. So I stood up, I turned around and I confronted him. And at that time, that's when he backed off. So if I'm ignoring you and you have a chance to let it go, then you should probably let that go. But yeah, had he continued, I'd had no problem putting hands on him. And there was another situation where, and I think we will get into this as the conversation goes on. There's another situation where I was in a nightclub with my wife, and the guy was, being a little disrespectful, kind of trying to get up on her physically. And I made a beeline over. I was kind of at the table, and I made a beeline over there to where she was. And she saw me coming, and she saw that look in my eyes, and she got in my path and probably prevented a really ugly turn of events at that point in time. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, disrespect is something that there's levels to it, and then there's certain times where you feel like, okay, I can just kind of get away with a look, or maybe just present myself as a man, and people will usually give you some type of respect and let things die. But if you're going to continue on with it, and coming from where I'm coming from, I've seen this happen where people want to constantly test you
Right.
and see if you are that dude. Then you got to go ahead and put them paws on them. And
Yeah.
that was a different situation than what happened with Will. But yeah, those are, to answer your question, Miss Peggy, those are certain situations that I found that usually gets things popping, is when somebody wants to continue disrespect and not show respect to that man and that woman.
Right. Yeah. And I've had like the blessing that I've had is that my wife actually saved one of the, probably would have been the worst case scenario for me. We were actually in a restaurant eating, and it was a guy sitting at a table behind me, and he was making gestures towards my wife, but my wife did not tell me until we left the restaurant. And so she did that on purpose because she knows that it would have been a whole problem in the restaurant if I would have known, because to me, I was with my children and my wife, as a matter of fact, at that moment, and that would have been a whole problem. That's some of the disrespect that I wouldn't tolerate at all. It would have been an altercation, definitely.
Yeah. And that's where I think, and I don't want to jump the gun if y'all have a order of things, but I think Jada missed the ball on this, because you got to know your man and you got to know what the bigger purpose is sometimes. And I know that she was upset at the joke, but when she saw it, she should have grabbed Will and kind of held that and say, well, okay, let's deal with this a better way, kind of like my wife did in the situation with the club, because you got to know that this man's brand and his reputation and what he has is extremely valuable to that family.
Right.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to look at the bigger picture. So I think she kind of failed him in that aspect. Yes, I see the comment. Will absolutely was wrong. But when it comes to your wife and the person that you love, just like in Pastor's example, your wife got to kind of know who your man is and what he's going to stand for and tolerate, and keep the bigger picture in mind. Could have been a night in jail for me. Like you said, Pastor, it could have went way differently for you. But those women in that moment held it down and made sure that the most important thing is the most important thing, which is for us to go home and be there, continue to be there for you, and make sure our reputations and our records stay clean, and go from there. So yeah, I think Jada maybe regrets this night as much as Will and Chris do.
Right.
We want to welcome Joni to the virtual building and conversation with us. Joni Ferguson, that's your wife. And also
I disagree with
Pasa,
that.
yeah, it says Will's brand is ruined. I don't think it's ruined.
I disagree.
I think it's a little tarnished. You know, you have to kind of wipe the dirt off of it, but I don't think he is ruined. Um, no.
Hollywood loves a good redemption story.
Yes.
And they will love, and Will Smith, as a matter of fact, I talked about this earlier when I did a live. If you read Will Smith's book, you'll kind of understand the man he is. He is the type of man who will make amends. And as we actually agreed to come do this, Ms. B, he has released an apology. Will Smith is the type of man who will make amends and do what it takes to earn people's forgiveness and respect again. So that's why I disagree with that, Pastor Palmer. He will do the work and people will forgive him, and his brand will probably grow bigger from this.
Yeah, because now he can go on a whole new thing about how to forgive, because his a lot of his brand is about being positive. Having a positive attitude, a positive outlook, that type of thing, very positive, motivational, and he'll probably just add this to it and take off in another direction and come back, smelling like a rose.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here's the problem with images and this celebrity worshiping that we do. Will Smith's a human being. That's why I brought up his book.
Right.
Like, his book was very enlightening for me, for some of the things he's gone through as a man. He's a human being. We get caught up in national icon or role model and this, that, and the brand that these people sell you. Understand that you're being sold a brand, just like you're being sold stories, you're being sold controversy. And we as people, we buy into it. No, that's a human being. That West Philly stuff, that's real. Like, that's what you saw last night. You saw a West Philly dude who was tired of all the jokes, the memes, the Jada, like the embarrassment. That wasn't just about that one joke last night, y'all. That was about a bunch of things.
Yeah.
I'm still not buying it.
What you not buying, girlfriend?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Will is thick-skinned. Jada is thick-skinned. They've been in the industry, in the business for years and years and years. They know how it goes. Will has been a comedian himself. He know anybody in the house, in the building is subject to get it.
Right.
Nobody is exclusive. You're not above a joke. He, the wife, Oscar's wife, whoever's wife, Will Packer's wife, anybody. If you're sitting somewhere in that front row in that area of eye contact that the comedian on stage can see you and he want to pick at your big ears or he want to make a joke of your haircut or whatever it is that he want to joke about, you subject to get it.
Right.
And in that particular setting, you have to remain a certain amount of decorum you have to maintain throughout the joke. You laugh it off. You smooth it over and you deal with it later if you need to.
Yeah.
So for him to run up on stage and slap the crap out of Chris at that particular time and moment was totally out of pocket to me. Yeah. Unacceptable. He should be held to a higher standard. His feet should be held to the ground. And make amends. Do whatever you got to do to clean it up. To apologize to Chris and everybody else that he offended in his actions, and move from there. Yeah. But he will recover. He will be fine, and so will Chris. But I commend Chris because the way Chris dealt with it, and he handled it, the way he kept his composure and joked about it, and moved on with the program. To me, that took a lot.
He saved the show.
He did. He did.
He saved the show. He's a professional.
He absolutely saved the show. Because can you imagine?
I would have
how much worse this would have been. Can you imagine how much worse this would have been if they would have been rolling around on the stage fighting?
The show would have been over if I was Chris.
It's over. It's over for a lot of people if that happens. Chris really did save the show.
Yeah. Right. And what a tragedy it would have been for the brother who produced the show, for the first time, making history producing this show, and then to have two other brothers mess it up with their foolishness and being out of control. It was I just wonder, how Will went from kind of laughing about it when the joke first hit to being, just so enraged.
It was
Oh,
Jada's
I've watched
face.
this.
It was Jada's face. She laughed a little
Yeah.
bit too, but then in an instant, she changed modes and she looked over at him with a look, and he kind of knew that look. He knew that look, that something clicked in her head, that this might have been a deeper thought for her, and it hurt more than was funny. And I think it just kind of switched things. But I think what bothered me the most was this is two brothers that are at the top of the game. And for us as black people, like the voice of black excellence or the presence of black excellence when it comes to Hollywood. And I think that for me was the disgust. I think that hurt me more than anything. It was hard to look at just from their caliber, who they are.
Yeah, it was painful. It was
Yeah.
embarrassing.
It was so hard.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
You
I
know
didn't
how
see
you
it in
always
the
say,
moment. I saw it when I was online, Ready to Love. I'm a Ready to Love enthusiast. I'm always on there late at night, and I saw it come across. Somebody threw it out there. Did you see what happened with Will Smith? You know, so I immediately, Googled it. Bring it up on YouTube so I could see it or whatever. And so they played it back, so I was able to see exactly what happened. And I saw Will when he was laughing in the beginning, and then you saw him get up out of his seat and go to the stage, and and I'm like, what the.
Yeah.
Just wow, just to
I
me it
wanna
was just
see.
yeah, Joni says that
unbelievable.
perhaps it's time to stop expecting people to be thick-skinned. Jada slumped at that joke. You
She
know,
did
I want to
laugh
see
at
if
first.
there's another angle, because I've looked at the one that's out there many, many times, and a lot of times you're kind of like, especially when you're up front, right, and they got the cameras on you, you're in this thing where you're trying to laugh at jokes. I don't know if maybe he was really laughing or he was fake laughing. Sometimes these people be faking. And then it clicked on him what he actually said, and then he caught Jada's look. I want to see if they have another camera angle, because I'd be really interested in seeing the progression of the change on his face. Because you're right, he was laughing at first, but then it looked like he was doing the usual Will Smith laugh, which, in not to pull the rug on anybody, but that red carpet stuff a lot of times is some of the fakest, most perpetrating stuff you'll ever see. And then,
ever.
a lot of these actors, man, they're not the polished individual that you think they are. They're having anxieties and all kinds of stuff going, and they're performing. So I would really like to see if he was fake laughing, and then he when he saw Jada, how did it change? Because it was right. At first I thought maybe it was staged and then something went wrong, because I don't know about if I was watching it live and then the screen kind of went frozen and then they put up a little Oscar sign or something. So I thought maybe this was part of the bit. But then when they came back, it was all going, and I had to rewind it a little bit, and like it got super real. So I gotta see how that look.
He's human. Nobody is perfect. No, you're not supposed to be perfect. We know nobody is perfect, and we're all humans. But like I said again, in this world, this is an international, worldwide setting. There are millions of eyes on you. It's a place and a time for everything. You have to use common sense, better judgment, hold your tongue, your anger, or whatever it is, sometime for the big, like you say, for the bigger picture.
Right.
It just, to me, it was poor judgment. It was just not the time to show flex your muscles. I didn't feel like Jada was in imminent danger.
Right.
Yes, feelings may have been hurt. Yes, she may have been a little embarrassed, but again, we black women always proclaiming, I am not my hair. My hair doesn't make me. She looked beautiful. She is a beautiful woman. Right. There is nothing for her to be embarrassed about her hair being short, or I feel like the joke was a compliment to pay the next.
Well, it's because she has a disease. That's why.
Well, like I said, retarded people, mentally ill people, blind people, people with walking disabilities are not off limits to comedians. They're not off targets. You gonna hear people scarred today because they've been teased all through their life, because they was teased as a kid for being overweight, for being fat, for being too black, for being a snaggletooth, for being whatever it is, big lips too big, eyes too big, nose too big. You're gonna get joked on. You're gonna get clowned on. It's a part of life.
Yeah. It could have been handled a lot better. It definitely could have been handled a lot better.
And that's the bottom line. It could have been handled a lot better, you know.
Yes.
And he could have, well, he could have walked up there and said what he needed to say to
Leaned
him.
over in his ear. Yes.
And
You know,
made him feel small. He could have
Right.
went there and said something and made him feel small by, saying, just, kind of like, professionally saying, hey, I enjoy the joke or whatever, but my wife is suffering from XYZ and XYZ. I don't appreciate that, but I know you're a comedian, blah, blah, blah. If you really needed to get something off your chest,
Right.
I think it
At
could have
that
been
moment.
done in a different way, and that would have done more damage than a slap.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the attention that the awareness that he could have brought about
Right.
that disease.
Yes.
That would have been a perfect platform. The love that he would have received across the board from people who suffer from alopecia would have, sent his, popularity skyrocketing. We just expect so much more from him and from him to be a lot more classy. And he had time to think about what he was doing. That was a long walk.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because after he could have leaned in that brother ear and said, if you don't take that back right now, I'll tell you as soon as this show over, you're gonna see me backstage.
Right.
You better apologize to my wife and take it back. Even that would have been okay.
Right.
Have y'all seen Chris Rock has apologized? Have y'all seen that?
Yeah,
Yes,
I've seen that. Yeah, and I saw Will crying and apologizing, and listen, this is going to be so good when the comeback happens. And don't be surprised if next year you see both of them hosting the Oscars. I'm telling you, there's going to be there can be some good that comes out of it. So
I honestly don't think it's going to be that bad, to be honest with you, because to me, they let him stay knowing that he was going to win that Oscar because they knew that acceptance speech was going to be ratings gold. So as far as his fall, the fall ain't going to be that bad, y'all. Like, especially now that they both apologized. Like, people will talk their noise and talk trash for a little while, but he wasn't arrested. Chris didn't press charges. So it's basically up to now, what is the Academy do? They've released a couple statements.
Yeah.
They may sanction him or something. They've been talking, maybe they'll take the Oscar back. If you're going to take the Oscar back, you shouldn't have gave it to him in the first place. Because you had like 45 minutes to make a decision, but you chose ratings and you chose to take advantage of this opportunity. That's how Hollywood people think. They're taking advantage of the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll blow over and it'll just be jokes. It'll be jokes just like it was for the Red Table Talk and the entanglement.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna suffer from any.
He didn't slap him.
Yeah,
he didn't slap the table.
Slapgate.
He didn't protect her.
It's gonna be Slapgate, just like we talking about Slapgate.
That's who he should have been slapping, and I don't think no slapping was going on.
Michael says he would rather a man ball up his fist than bitch slap me. You know what? Mike said, "Do not bitch slap me, please."
Yeah, that's like getting spit on.
Yeah.
It's all bad to me in my eyesight. It's all bad.
It's not good. But Essex, you make a point. The publicity, whether it's good or bad, is still publicity.
See.
You cannot buy. You can't. I don't care how much money you have. You cannot buy what's going on right now.
Right.
Across the board, social media talking about it, everybody talking about it at work. All of the gossip blogs are on it, or every morning show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and there's going to be people making all kinds of stuff. They're going to carry this out for a long time, making fun of it. You can't.
And I saw it reported that the ratings were up 56%. So when you talk about how it affects a Will Packer Power in these spaces, when it comes to who gets these jobs, is going to be the bottom line. So people might say, it was bad luck because, two black men. Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, more people now are talking about the Oscars than they would have if it would just gone as it traditionally has. There's been criticism for years that the Oscar was either A, too white, or B, too boring. And so at the end of the day, these shows are not just, they're for ratings. They are business.
Right.
So to next year, they're gonna be wondering, ooh, is Will gonna come?
What's gonna happen juicy this year?
Are they gonna do something together? Like, man, people, we act like we are above this stuff, and we love it. We love violence and drama and gossip.
Americans know they love it. They eat it up. They live for
eat
it.
it up. That's why y'all raw talk. The show is raw talk. Yeah.
We love it.
We
You know,
love
we love
this
it.
stuff, man.
We consume
love the
it.
drama.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like we love the drama. That's why there are reality shows.
Yeah.
You know, we love it. And this was the most reality you can get. You know, you can't get more real than that.
No.
You know, you cannot get more
Chris
real than that.
said it himself, like you said. It was probably the line of the night. This is the greatest night in television. Like he just got slapped in his face, and he's like, "This is great." Because he know he's gonna sell out so many concerts now.
Come on.
He's gonna use that in his
God.
act forever to come. Yeah.
He's gonna eat off this forever.
Oh yeah, T-shirts gonna come out. Who knows? It could be a whole line of stuff coming out behind this. It's gonna be out there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see his T-shirt.
Right
I went to the Oscars and got slapped by Will Smith.
There you go.
Oh, I saw
that
Will
should be
Smith.
out already. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
it's coming. You know, it's
I was
coming.
at Slapgate.
Yeah,
I had some folks on Facebook had some things to say. TJ Legacy Cole says hypermasculinity and violence to prove to your wife that she hasn't completely emasculated you in front of millions of people on live television is a beta male energy. Will Smith wasn't protecting Jada. He was protecting his insecurities for the world to see. Gentlemen, what is your take on that with the beta male energy?
Can somebody explain beta male energy? Because I'm really not quite sure what that is.
You know, if you're an alpha male, that means that you're dominant. You know, you're you know,
basically everybody knows that Jada runs that house. Everybody knows that. And basically that's been the pun of the joke really for Will, is that she runs that relationship, and everything she does she can do, and he's not gonna leave. And basically he's basically the pun of the joke behind that. And I think for a lot of people, they kind of, it's like, okay, Will took advantage of this moment to show his manhood, where a lot of people have said for so long he didn't have that manhood because of his position with that relationship after the whole situation with the entanglement. So I think that's what they mean by that more than anything, is that he was trying to prove himself before everybody that he was a man, basically on behalf of his wife as protecting her.
Well, you know, it was a real punk ass move because Chris wasn't really in a position to defend himself. You know, being in the professional spotlight that he was in, and the responsibility of carrying that show. And if you look at the video, you can see Chris check himself. Yeah, because it's a natural reaction from somebody that if you get hit, you ready to, it's gonna come to blow. Right. You're looking to do it back. I saw him check himself. And bring it back down and go, oh wow, okay. But I think his first instinct was, to hit him back.
Yeah.
Well,
50 Cent had a lot more to say about Jada than Chris had to say. And Will went back and forth with 50 Cent on Twitter, but he did not say anything outrageous to 50 Cent. He went back and forth with reasoning. So my question is, would he have slapped 50 Cent the way he slapped?
Hell no.
Chris? That's the thing. I don't think
that's what makes it a punk ass move.
Right.
Or
you know that
was
much smaller.
No Rock. He wouldn't have punched
we'll
him.
never know, because you always have to think about proximity and opportunity, right?
Right.
So he was talking to 50 back and said, what would have happened if they would have been face to face? But see, now that's part of the problem.
50 would have smacked him.
Huh?
50 would have bitch slapped Will.
We don't know. But see, the thing is, now every time Will is in a public situation and
Mm.
somebody tries to step to him, people are
Right.
always going to be like, why you ain't slap him? Why you ain't slap him? People are going to be very, very
It's true.
juvenile
Oh, yeah.
in that aspect.
Yeah.
Can you put that quote back up with TJ? What are you saying? I want to say something about that. What he said? Okay. First of all, I'm so sick of this whole toxic masculinity, hyper masculinity BS in the fucking cyberspace these days. I'm so sick of it. But let me say this though. All of this stems from drama between him and Jada. I will agree with that. I will agree that the frustration wasn't just about that joke in the moment. It was about everything that has come of light with him and Jada being so public about their marriage. Anybody that's been married for even a time, if you didn't learn it while you was married, you probably learned it before, and that's why you're still married. Keep people out your damn business.
Right. Everybody.
That is the major component to this. Do I think Will Smith is a beta male? No, because if you look at his story, this is a self-made man if there's ever been one. This man has grown a business and has taken more flack from people over the past 30 years than anybody. If that's beta male, then sign me up for it when you're still worth of north $500 million. You're one of the biggest stars in the world. I think we need to leave this man a little bit of moment of grace and compassion, because even though we know it was wrong and it was a sucker move, it was a moment in time that should not define his life and what he's done. He's done a lot of good to help people. He's employed a massive amount of Black people. His work has been groundbreaking. At a time when he was still a clean rapper, our community shunned him and told him he was corny, he was this, he was that. And then now he's loving this woman. And we can have our opinions of it or not, but whatever it is, he loved this woman to death, to his detriment sometimes. He stood up and did something that in a moment he probably regrets.
Peggy ain't going for it. What's the matter,
I wish we would get away from all this. What's masculine, hyper masculine, toxic masculine. Like, give that man a moment to be a human, even if he did make an idiot out of himself.
What's the matter, Peggy?
Excuses. I'm still not doing it. That's why I say all the more reason. You've been doing this for 50 years. You've been doing this. You know what it's like. You know what the game is like. You've been in the field. You've been in the trenches. You've been down and dirty. You've seen it happen to other people. You've experienced it yourself a time or two. What makes this time so different?
When did somebody slap somebody in the Oscars before? When did he learn from that?
Grace. Yeah, he didn't give grace. He didn't give grace to Chris. Like I said, Chris was not trying to choke his woman and give her a black eye, or didn't come toward her to give her danger to hurt her. No,
No, nobody's saying it's right, but I'm saying for everything that he's done over the past years, he can be allowed to make one mistake.
And then another. So we excuse them. Why? Because they celebrities, because they got money, because they are the it people.
It wasn't an excuse. It was just simply saying he had a moment. If everybody on here is perfect and did everything right, then that'd be great. But just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean that you're not going to do these things either. We've seen that time and time again. And then we get up and we judge everybody. That's why you have to be held to the fire when you're in the public eye. And every move you make is under a microscope. Show me how perfect you can be for 35 years, and we'll see how it goes.
That's why you still have to be held accountable for what you do. You still have to be accountable in those weak moments. You still have to be accountable at the end of the day. You setting examples. You're role models to millions. I mean, other people, children, whoever, they're watching you. It's still no excuse.
Joni says Will is 50 and the level of no F's given goes up exponentially after 40. You know, after you turn 40, things change. So she said he had a moment. We have all had one. But, you know, he was fortunate. You know, we were talking about, have you ever had to confront somebody or defend your wife physically? Now, he went up there and hit Chris, okay? He could have hurt him.
Yeah.
You know, you think a slap is nothing, but you can damage someone's eardrum. You could, you could dislocate
with a
your
ring.
jaw. You could, he could have done something. That one slap, he could have killed him. Really.
I don't know about all that now.
Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I grew up in the projects. Shout out to St. Nicholas Projects, Harlem, NYC. All right. I saw these two women, grown ass women, who lived in my building. Their sons were in an altercation. They came and they interfered. They got into the altercation and they started arguing and fighting. And Miss Aga pushed Frog's mama back, and when she pushed her, that woman hit the ground. Her head hit the step, the little step that you step up on to sit down on the bench. I heard her skull crack open. She was dead. She was dead from an altercation, from an argument between two children. She was dead. So you ain't got to shoot nobody. You ain't got to cut nobody, but you can punch somebody, knock them out. They hit their head. They dead. Yeah. He slapped him, he could have fallen off the stage, knocked his, veneers out, knocked his teeth out his mouth. Anything could have happened. You really take a risk when you physically, get into an altercation with someone. And then you be thinking, oh, you're going to beat somebody else. Then you get your ass tore out the frame. Surprise.
Hey. Everybody like to say wish a MF would until MF does.
Until he does.
Everybody wish you would. Okay. Oh no, yeah, you're right, but so okay.
All right, with all that wishing, I got to put on my match.
So y'all think you should go to jail? What does it look like? What does accountability look like?
If it would have been a white brother there that got slapped instead of Chris, what would have happened?
Hey, he did slap a white boy though.
Where will be now?
Oscars at the
Where
Oscars
will be now?
If that would have been Adam Sandler last night, he slapped.
But just for accuracy, he did slap a white boy on the red carpet for trying to kiss him. Y'all remember that?
Remember that? Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
I have a feeling he would have got arrested on the spot last night. If
on the spot, they would have took him out of handcuffs.
It would have been a whole problem. It would have saw a lot.
He served time. They would have made an example out of him.
Yeah, it would have been a different game. It would have been a different game.
Ain't nobody mad at him for slapping the white man for not wanting, for trying to kiss him. We ain't mad at him for that.
Oh, y'all ain't mad at that because it was I know why y'all wasn't mad at that. I'm not gonna say it. I know why.
You can't hold that against him. Be like, hey man, not in public.
Hey man.
We'll do that later. Not now. Mark Ferguson says the Academy should revoke Will Smith's Best Actor award for his hood ghetto behavior on a worldwide televised award show. His disgusting and distasteful behavior was inappropriate and true to the immature, hypersensitive, stereotypical behavior of rappers. And that's quite disappointing, as I thought he was way above that sort of nonsense. Stop it, Essex. Return him to Philadelphia, where that nonsense is acceptable. Whoa!
Take them A&B pearls out your hand and shove them back in.
And I feel Will was wrong, and I'm going to stand in that. So
there has to be. I don't think it's over.
Pat him on the back and says, okay, forgiveness is warranted, but you still have a little price you got to pay.
Right.
You still have to have accountability.
Right. For the people watching, there has to be some kind of some type of accountability for the people watching, because now you got a whole generation of people coming up behind this saying, man, it's okay to do it. Let's just go. Let's go to the Oscars and throw hands if we have to. Yeah. And now let me ask y'all a question though. Wasn't it just recently that we made a big speech as a Black people about how proud we were that we finally got recognized at the Oscars?
But listen, hold on. Before we go to that, what pissed me off about that quote was all that subtle racist oh, black people this and ghetto and hood, all that. Man, stop it. That man ain't lived in no hood since he was 18 years old. Stop assigning poor behavior to the whole entire race or culture.
True.
And stop making us responsible for everything every little damn body do. That's what I hate about that quote. Yes, he was wrong. Yes, he'd be held accountable. But give me a break with all that extra pearl clutching with your little soft ass. Anyway.
True.
That's cool. I can deal with that.
Yeah,
I'm sick of that. Because black people, we shouldn't be there because we behave our way into these white establishments. You earned it because he's talented. He had the best performance. Black people have put on some of the best performances in so many other films. Some are Soul won and got completely overshadowed, which was a great documentary.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this discussion, especially on our people, that we got to behave so that they show us. Damn that.
Ooh,
yes, it was wrong. Yes, it was wrong. But he don't owe the whole black people. He's not carrying. I'm tired of black people having to carry the whole goddamn race on our back anytime we do something. I'm sorry. I'm sick of that.
Okay, sometimes you do.
White people out here calling us ghetto and hood and all that. Man, we're dead all of that.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. But so the question though, the question still remains though. Wasn't it just recently we just had this big speech about how black people was not being recognized at the Oscars and we was finally starting to get some type of recognition? I mean, I understand that we don't carry everybody on our back as a black people, as one person. However, I think there should be some form of accountability and some form of, I guess you could say, okay, I didn't make it there by myself. You might be talented, but it was the black community that made you, like, they really got behind your talent. They were watching your shows. They were the audience watching your shows, and you were the role model for a lot of people in our community. At the end of the day, what part of that contributes to your career, your name now, and do you have some form of accountability that you should be held up to say that, hey, I'm here, and what do I stand for now that I'm here? I mean, does anything count at this point for the community that supported for all the years that before he became this mega star? Does any of it count as far as the community itself as African Americans?
Better yet, are you a representation for us?
Right.
You're the that's out there. You're the body that's there. You are the person that's sitting in that front row that's representing the rest of us that's back home watching it from afar.
Right.
That's wishing one day to be where you are. Like,
right.
Can you not feel that there's a weight that you're gonna carry with that?
Right. Just it's the same as the officer, the white officer that shoots the black man in the community. We look at white people a certain way based on their representation, whoever's representing them. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way for us. You know what I'm saying? I just really feel like, a lot of times maybe we get to a point where we get so big to where we forget about what we represent. I know it's, I know back in the day, it used to be always like, the slaves did all of this to get away for you today. And it's like, no, they got away because they was running. They was trying to get away for themselves. So but at the end of the day, I mean, like, what about, is there any type of like weight to that at all when it comes to fame and stars?
Pastor, let me say this, ladies, if I may say this. As I know you ladies know, I'm just coming off of portraying Dr. King in a run this past winter. And I hear what you're saying, Pastor, about representing our culture and our responsibility to our culture. Here's the difficult part, and I'm trying to look at it from the perspective when you take yourself out of yourself. So doing what I did with Dr. King and then looking at Will after just reading his book and kind of seeing his path. We're talking about the same community that has been mocking him relentlessly for the past couple of years, despite everything he's accomplished. We're talking about the same community that when he was a corny, non-cussing family rapper, said it pretty much cut it off because he wasn't gangster enough. He was too corny. We are people in that situation are often balancing a very, very thin line of keeping it real versus following our own path. And it is not easy. Dr. King had a lot of us who said that he was doing the wrong thing, going about it the wrong way, whether we choose to remember it that way or not. That is what was happening. He thought that, then you got other people who say he was placating to white people too much. He was tap dancing for white people too much. We make it hard on ourselves sometimes as a community to try to carry that whole weight all the time. Because you got some people that's gonna say you ain't black enough. You got some people that say, well, you owe me and my kids you to be a role model and all that. That's hard, man. It is too damn hard. And to be honest with you, a lot of times we ain't worth it because we forget about all that. We forget about the good. The good goes to the wayside when we got gossip to chew on, when we got negative stuff to make fun of, when we got things to do. So that's why I said what I said earlier, Ms. Peggy. I understand what you're saying, and I know that it was wrong, but when are we going to give each other some grace and hold each other up, even when we are dead ass wrong? You know what I'm saying? Because that's who people are. I'm not even, not even trying to preach, but when you do go to church, you hear that. You hear about lifting people up when they're wrong. You hear about praying for people when they're wrong. You hear about all that stuff, but we don't do it.
So while we're whispering Jada ear, baby, forgive him. It's just a joke right now. Calm down. It'll be all right.
So
it's easier said than done, though. It's easier said than done. If Miss Peggy, if you was in a situation that somebody disrespected you, you would want your man to do something. You wouldn't want him to just be like, all right, let's go. Let's walk away.
Say a little something. I'm not finna let him go up there and make a fool out of himself. Don't fight nobody. I don't want you to go to jail.
And that's where Jada messed up.
Words
that's
will
where Jada
come in
messed
his
up.
ear and come out their ear. And words are powerful and they are strong and they have weight and they mean something, but they don't. Trust me, with words, it'll be okay.
Yeah, we
but
got
that slap that he took. He gonna feel that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That humiliation that he felt on that stage. She was in the audience, and like I say, we only got a small glimpse of her face to see that she
should have kept him at bay.
The spotlight was on Chris and how he handled that in that moment, and the hurt that he felt, and the devastation that he was experiencing with Will coming up on that stage to confront him.
Yeah, so Jada has to take responsibility.
Yeah,
Jada has to take some responsibility too for how much she's put on this man's plate and how he feels this need to have to overcompensate for her as well. And they both got to take a step back and just start being quiet.
Yeah,
because it's gotten to a point now where it's dangerous and it can potentially mess up money. And I think we still have a lot of love for them. But it's getting to the point where, all right, let's put the mystery back into place. We know too much.
Yeah. Right. Because what he's done now is made himself a worldwide target.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's going to have to be doing a lot of defending, not only of her, but of himself. And for a long time, Joni says, it's just too much. We need to unlearn holding one person in a white space accountable for the view of all Black folks. I don't know when we're going to get over that. I don't know when.
We'll be past this situation quick.
But I'm talking about us as a people.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Putting all of the weight and pressure on a Black person who is in a white space to behave a certain way. And, because they're representing all of us. Sinitra says that Jada should have stopped her irresponsible man. And so what was she supposed to do? Did she know that he was going to hit her?
When she felt him getting up, she should have been, hold up, baby. Hold up. What you finna do?
She wasn't sitting close enough to him. I don't know.
She could have got up though. She could have got up and be like, "Will, sit your black ass."
Hey, no, baby, no.
Don't do that.
Like he got up and grabbed his arm and escorted him out the side door. We're not doing this today, baby.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not doing this.
How
here about now.
Yeah.
How Michael Jackson's mama talked to Joe. She said, "Go to bed, Joseph."
Yeah.
Go to bed, Joseph. Go to bed. You know, stop
Listen,
whipping
I
up
don't
on
think.
you know, go to bed.
We
So
not up for these
she would need to
shenanigans
say,
tonight.
Will,
No,
come here and
sir.
sit down. Huh?
Yes, we're not up for these shenanigans tonight. We're not doing this, baby. It is not okay.
I don't know, man.
Since you know your man, you know when your man is getting ready to act irresponsible. You know what's finna. You know what's finna happen.
And y'all know it be
what's
alcohol. Y'all know they be serving alcohol in there too now.
You think
Very well
they
could
was
have
already
two drinks in there.
they was already lit.
Oh yeah. They be
already
passing out
on and
champagne
popping.
like it's Tic
Among
Tacs
that
and
other
everything.
stuff they
blame
drink.
it on the alcohol now. Go ahead. Blame it on the alcohol.
Somebody called Jamie Foxx. Will was unbecoming and lost his professionalism. Chris was being a usual comedian. Did he know that Jada had hair problems?
He may
Probably not. Somebody says that's it. Thanks, Dahlia, for your.
He originally made a statement that he did not know.
Yeah,
he did not know. Yeah. And the joke could have been written for him. He might have just been reading the prompter.
Yeah.
Oh, well, some writer need to get an ass whooping.
Listen.
that ain't the joke, right?
Wow,
that's not it. Sharon, hey Sharon. Sharon said Will laughed until he caught Jada rolling her eyes, and that's when he got up. Yeah. She sent him the signal.
Yeah,
she sent him the signal, and
because that means if you ain't do something, you gonna be in the doghouse tonight, nigga. If you don't get your butt up there and do something, say something, you gonna be in the doghouse for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So maybe she did send the signal to get it.
Well, he did tweet.
Go get him.
Did you guys see the tweet he did like immediately after?
No, what was the tweet?
He did tweet that. See, this is what you happen when you have Baltimore and West Philly people together. That was his tweet. Like after the thing together. So he pretty much said, like, y'all know y'all acting a fool. And y'all trying to blame us.
Come on,
they
man.
know it.
He probably did gas him up. That's why I say, man, Will messed up, but like, come on, Jada. You got to come on, man.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see how they recover and what the decision of the Academy is going to be. From this point on, I don't think it's effective to take the Oscar away. Look, I already won. I got it. Everybody knows. So if you want your little, you want your little trophy, your little statue back, you can have it. He got enough money to make him one if he just want one that bad. So that's insignificant. That's right. That's right, girlfriend Peggy.
I'm for what's right is right. Miss B will tell you, I'm not on your side. I'm not on her side. I'm not on his side. It's the right side and the wrong side, and I'm gonna stand somewhere. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Even if it's myself. If I'm wrong, I don't have a problem admitting I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I shouldn't have acted that way. I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna try to make it right. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to correct the situation. Hopefully it won't ever happen again, and let's move forward. And I heard an apology. I think Essex, you talked about it on your live earlier today. You said he apologized to everybody but Chris.
Well, at this speech, he did leave Chris out, but in his apology today that he released, he pretty much apologized to Chris profusely, and then he did mention the Academy again, and then other people. So he's made apologies, and I know there's still going to be more fallout, but he has started to continue to own it and make apologies, and I'm sure he'll do more. Like I said, I invite everybody to read his book. It's not just about Will and stardom and fame, but he touches on some things that he went through in his family life that, to me, resonated as a father and a husband, and some things that I need to watch out for. You know what I mean? Like he touches on some of the places where his anger comes from. He's done some deep dives on his traumatic experience, and so it just, like I said, it's not a way to try to excuse him, but it's just you see where people's pain comes from by having read that book and seen kind of how he's managed and walked through this life of his. So it's a good read, man, that a lot of people can take a lot of knowledge from. You can learn from people's mistakes and learn from some of the things that they've done in their lives that you could probably see in yours and other people's lives.
Yeah. And then he goes in, huh?
I said, Essex, you getting the cut from that book sale? Because you've been pushing that book quite a bit.
No, I had finished it a couple weeks ago, but then now that all this things popped up, it's made for great talking points because there's a lot, and I saw this a lot of people who they're just judging this in the moment. And when you judge something in the moment without context, we tend to want to make everything, black and white, off with his head. You know what I mean? But so just having read it, it's not that I'm trying to push it, but it's just, it makes you like, oh, okay, yeah, that's that dude right there from page 89. You know what I mean? It just gives you more of a perspective.
He should be more aware of his triggers and what's going to prompt the anger and know when he's being pushed and triggered and all that other stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I think Jada had a little responsibility in this too. And not a whole lot, but she has a little responsibility in this too, because she knows how he is. He goes on in the book on and on about it, about how protective he is of people. And the reason why he's this way, his dad beat up his mom one time when he was a small child, about 8 or 9 years old. And he felt so powerless and in a cowardly state that he's overcompensated for it and has tried to figure out a balance for it his whole life. So him being overprotective and stepping over that line is right in line with this stuff that he was talking about in the book. It's just, like I say, it's not an excuse. It's just a way of understanding how a person gets into that moment, because we all know that was crazy as hell. We know that was off the chain, but
it just
they say shit happened.
Yeah, it should have never happened.
That was a real mental breakdown moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in situations like that, I think it's very important. It's very important to deal with past hurt, past things that have happened in your life, because whatever you have not dealt with, the further up you get, it's going to deal with you one way or the other. You know what I mean? And this is one of those, a perfect scenario to mental health. You know what I mean? Like really dealing with mental health. And I think a lot of times men don't deal with mental health to the degree that they need to deal with, because we can tough it out. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important. I think just for me, like when you a story about him, I think about like from my childhood, in my childhood, I remember like, the things I as a child, where my father would beat me with like fan belt cords and stuff, and my shirt like stuck to my back afterwards from the blood being stuck. And I think about like me now having children of my own, and the key factor is that those things that I dealt with before having the children that I have now helped me to be able to handle them in a different way than what I was dealt with. And so when I think about that, I think it's very important, especially for us as African-American males. We're probably one of the largest, I would say, populations that don't necessarily agree with any type of therapy, any type of, hashing it out, going to somebody and talking about our mental state. It needs to be dealt with. If that would have been dealt with a long time ago, situation like this, it's like, you learn those coping mechanisms to have in place to stop you from making the worst mistake of your life. And that's very important for us. I think that's something, even in this might be a great catapulting moment for him to address something in a manner pertaining to help him a lot.
That's the comeback story, brother. You hit it on the nail. That's the comeback story right there.
And again, my thing is, was it a mental breakdown, or was it just him flexing, saving face with his wife? There's a difference. Now, you got to make a call in the moment. Was he flexing, or did he really have a mental breakdown in that moment?
I think it was a combination, like our brother said earlier. Like you were saying earlier, it's a background now of things that he's dealt with, a background of things that he's been kind of taking in. And I think it's kind of a combination of all of it, just kind of like the perfect moment of a explosion of them down. And that's usually how it happens. It happens with things that are in the background that's kind of manifesting, but at the same time, now I'm going to flex at the same time. It's just like a collision of emotions that kind of just happens, and you do something that's really outrageous.
I know, because I've done it.
Yeah.
I know, because I've done it, and I paid a price for it.
Yeah.
You hear me? I paid a price for it. I ended my career prematurely because of something that I did that stemmed from mental instability, emotional distress, fear, depression, all combined together. And when it happened, nobody said, that's not Miss B. That's not what she does. That's not the person I know. That's not how she acts. She would never do that. Nobody said that. They just said, well, you did that. It's against, what we see. You're insubordinate. It's against what we stand for. You can't come back here no more.
We gotta give each other more grace, man.
So let's not act like because that happened to him 40 or 50 years ago that's not still right there on him somewhere all the time, waiting to show up. Is that an excuse? Does that mean that he doesn't have to pay a price? Does that mean that that there's no just punishment for his disbehavior? No, he's gonna get it. Something, if nobody does anything to him, trust me, he's doing it to himself. He'll punish himself.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, accountability is necessary. At the end of the day, I believe that everybody does. We should extend the grace at the end of it all and say, look, he's a man. He's a human. He did what he did. Let's move forward. But accountability in the moment, I believe it really does more for just the person being held accountable and punishing a person. I think it's more or less to say something to the community at large of people that anytime you do something that's not morally right, and this was not a right situation. This wasn't right by Chris to do him that way, put hands on him. And I believe that anytime we get to that point, there should be some reflection on what happens when you do something like this that sends a message to everybody so that people know that it's not okay to do it. But at the end of the day, I do believe that grace is necessary on all of our behalf, because the brother is capable of doing anything that we are capable of doing as well. Any given moment, we can lose ourselves in a situation. We never know what situations, combination of pieces that sets off the person that you were, the person that you are, the person that's down and deep inside. It can all come to the surface. Just the right components make it happen. So yeah, I think that grace is definitely needed in this situation tremendously. But accountability is necessary. Absolutely.
Most definitely. Joni says we must normalize seeking help and working through big emotions. Pray, yes, but God granted purpose to folks that can help you. And I agree with that. It takes, it's faith without works is dead. So you can pray about it, but you need to seek the help and start doing what needs to be done to get yourself back healthy. And maybe this will shine a light on mental health and the need to check yourself, your mental health level. So between the alopecia and the mental health check, maybe we can get something positive out of this, not just for him, but but for everybody.
Yeah, man. And anger is a part of that. We have a lot of anger in the Black community that we don't know where to put sometimes. Because we talk about hitting, like how many times we've been smacked by our parents or aunties or whatever. Or you just growing up as kids. I mean, I had so many fights when I was young. And I didn't think nothing of it because you think it's just growing up, growing of age, but we just so damn angry and hard on each other, man. Like he, and that's what you saw. It's like and I think somebody said it. Would he have done this to a white man or something? Sometimes it hurt more coming from your own people than white people. You know what I mean? Like, and I heard that they were friends too. So, when it's a person close to you, it hurts a little bit more. We hard on each other sometimes. We always going off on each other, or even sometimes just roasting each other, and like we don't know when to pull back a little bit.
Right.
So we all got to do a little better, man.
Yeah, it's amazing that in our community, I believe that we have more graves filled in our community because in our culture we are not taught how to communicate through words. We really are raised to communicate by putting hands on somebody. And that to us, it seems as if though that is the perfect way to communicate. They won't get it in their head unless you go upside their head. And that's the mentality that we have when we really have not learned how to talk. We don't know how to communicate.
It's hard.
That hard head make a soft behind. Hard head make a soft behind. That was the answer.
Yeah. And it's so much power in words. It's so much power in words. I believe the scripture says, and I hate to throw that on y'all, but it says, look,
come on with it now.
A soft answer turns away wrath. It's like when you know how to talk, you can change the atmosphere of a situation. And we escalate situations because we know how to yell and turn it up and fight. That's what we do, and that's what we've been known for. And I promise you, man, if our culture could ever grasp how to have a conversation, man, I tell you, man, it would turn around the state of African Americans in this country that we live in.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's in all communities. You say anger is in all communities. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we're for everybody black.
Everybody is dealing with anger issues.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
But our anger runs deeper.
Yeah.
They mad at us for being alive, and we mad at them for the way they treating us because we are alive.
And doing well. Some people do some people alive and doing quite well.
Very well. We don't. You can speak from the word anytime you want, Mr. Thomas Ware. That's what the audience says. We receive that. We absolutely do. But I think it's interesting to see what will happen from this point on, what the Academy will say. And we all get to say whatever we want to say. But bottom line, it happened. It was unfortunate and distasteful and raw and rare and exciting and crazy.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not
entertained?
That's my favorite movie, right?
Yes.
You're entertained, boy.
He said a lot of those words, brother. Yeah.
Phone blew up. Let me tell you, this thing blew up.
And people will be talking about it for years to come. But the man is probably gonna go on with his career and retire one day, and he's still gonna laugh and talk about it with his grandchildren one day.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
And then we're gonna be like, "Granddaddy, you slap Chris." It's gonna be funny.
Listen, I don't know if it's gonna happen 6 months from now, 2 weeks, a year, but those brothers are gonna come together. They're gonna hug it out. And like you say, we're all gonna be laughing about it and making jokes and telling our grandkids that we was watching tonight.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And what I'd like to see as part of the apology is Chris gets a chance to slap him back.
Get your lick back, dog. Get your lick back.
Right there.
Turn the other cheek. Yes. Turn the other cheek.
I come from way back here.
Oh no.
Put it on YouTube. That's what they need to do. Put it on YouTube.
Say, I read back on him. Woo! Come with the whole thing. I'm like, get your neck
Turn the
brace
other
down.
cheek, brother, and get it and take that heat.
Well, we want to thank both of you for being with us. We appreciate you so much. And to have the male point of view, we want to thank all of the Raw Talkers in the audience for sharing their personal thoughts and everything. And we remind you to go back on YouTube and like and subscribe and like this particular show and share it, and make sure you slap the notification bell so that you'll know when Raw Talk is on. And we invite you to join us this Wednesday night, Raw Talk Live, 9 p.m. right here on YouTube and on Facebook. On YouTube at Real Ass Women, Raw Talk on Facebook at Raw Talk. Tell them, girlfriend Peggy, we got a hot one for you this Wednesday. We're gonna be talking about team building.
I want to know about team building because I heard about it, honey, and it sounds juicy and spicy. And I don't know if it's something I can sink my teeth into, but I am willing and I am ready to take in all the juicy information about team building, honey.
Okay.
What kind of team y'all talking about?
All right, team building. Team building. This is something that you'll hear. Well, men call it having a stable. They have a stable, they got a black book or whatever. But team building for women means that you got one man that, you got your sugar daddy, he dish out the money. You got the other man that handles the sex. You got another man that fixes cars and, lays tile.
Handyman help with the yard work.
Man.
The pastor right here, y'all.
They about to get somebody. They about to get
pray
somebody.
For
killed.
Man. You got to pray for these women, pastor.
They about to get somebody killed, brother. I can see this.
I want all the tea.
How y'all?
Yeah. Please don't have our listeners come up missing. Please don't have those ladies come up missing.
Yeah.
Better be careful. Better be transparent out here.
Yeah, so we're going to talk. We're going to talk about team building. Do you do it? Would you do it? Is it a reality? Huh?
Have you done it? Are you doing it right now? What are the benefits of doing it? What are the risks? We want to know all the juicy tea.
Yeah, I'm not available for this show.
Let me zip up.
I'm out of this one.
Pastor, I'm gonna be
here.
I'm out, dog.
So it's going to be a team building 2022 right here on Raw Talk this Wednesday night. So we look forward to seeing you. God bless you all, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon, for coming to the mountaintop. I saw your comment. Thank you.
Yes. The mountaintop was everything. Congratulations.
Thank you.